we're asking these kids to shift this early.
Well,
why can't kids be kids? The communication between the administration and the school and the parents, it's broken. It is broken.
Hey everybody, I'm Lisa Morrell from Rebel News, and the following story might be one of the biggest stories of my entire life. It all started with a screen cap from a friend from North Portal, Saskatchewan, about a mom and Cree woman named Tawney Johnson from Lampman, Saskatchewan, 2 hours southeast of Regina in the southeast corner. Tawney Johnson, was demanding dignity and privacy for girls versus the identity and bathroom preferences of a boy with her local school division, the Southeast Saskatchewan Cornerstone School Division. And I went, well, I got to go find out more. So on the road I went in the Rebel News van, foregoing plumbing and water and air conditioning and power and internet for nearly 5 days in the blazing Saskatchewan heat to get this story down. But ooh buddies, it was so worth it. Just a quick word though before we proceed. This broadcast contains material that is intimately sensitive in nature and centers on children of a tender age. I trust that you'll treat them with care. Everybody, I'd like to introduce to you my friend Tawney Johnson of Lampman, Saskatchewan.
Well, being in a small town, when you actually have children that are in the school, you do know what's going on in the school. It came home not through the usual official channels. It's kids telling their parents, hey, this is what's happening.
And what is happening, Tawney?
There is a student in the school that they have now declared themselves to be a transgender student, and it was fine. Everybody was good with it. Changed pronouns, changed name, tried very hard. I think it was a 3-strike rule for the name, that if you use the dead name, you only get 3 chances, I think, something like that. It doesn't really matter about that part, but so it's something new to get used to.
Everybody's fine with it.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's sort of learning the ropes together.
Exactly.
And then?
The request to use the girls' washroom as a girl came. And the way I understand it, and I'm not sure if this is absolutely true, but in my opinion, this is what happened. The student was asked to ask his peers how they felt, how they would feel with this change. The student went and asked, got told various responses, mainly it would be very uncomfortable, and decided that decided that it didn't matter because they are using that facility.
So the solution of the school or the people that should be in charge was to self-poll the students and then do what the transgender student wanted.
No, I do believe there was a request put from the school to the division as to, this is what's happening. This is how we're going to handle it. Is this all right? Maybe. I'm not sure if that is exactly the way it happened or what, but the school did what they were supposed to do, and I support that decision for sure. The problem that I have is that once it went up the chain, it seemed to have lost its hold, or I'm not sure if that's the right word, but it seemed to have lost its, the word.
like as it went up, as the complaint went up the chain, it was diluted by people who were saying, well, I wish there was something we could do, but this is the policy, this is the policy, this is the policy.
They were going back on the policy all the time. So when you look at the policy itself, it actually only covers the change rooms. It doesn't say washroom specifically in the policy. It says change rooms, which, I mean, both kind of one and the same, but then when you do a little bit more digging into the Saskatchewan Human Rights Commission's Act, it's a lot of legal speak. So for the average person, you look at it and you go, okay, well, yeah, they are in the right. All right. So we have no recourse.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in my mind, there is a group of students now that are incredibly uncomfortable.
Girls.
Yes.
Female students.
It's a group of girls that are incredibly uncomfortable. And
because this was a person that they had known as a male.
Yes.
Right? Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, everybody is allowed to do whatever they want to do if it doesn't cause harm to others.
That's right. And as we know, we're grown women, we can talk about this. Female biology demands that we disrobe from the waist down to go to the washroom. It demands that for 5 days out of every 25, we're actively bleeding. That, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's all right.
These poor girls.
I know. And that's where I am. And I am so proud of these girls. Yeah. They're so incredibly brave that to hear them say nobody's listening to us, to hear them or to read their statements, because I went ahead and I said, something's got to be done.
Did you get statements?
I got impact
Did
statements.
you?
Yes.
Good job.
Not every student, not everybody is on board with this. I have to make that perfectly clear. Yeah. But the majority is.
What has the response of the school been then?
Once the school sent it on, and then parents started writing, the blanket response was, thank you for your concern of bringing this up. We will handle it in due course. Whatever that means, I'm not sure.
One of Scott Moe's statements was that his first order of business was going to be girls in the girls' rooms, boys in the boys' rooms. And then immediately after the election, he sort of rolled that back and gave it back to the school boards and said the school boards will manage this on an individual level. And what we're sort of learning is the school boards, with their involvement with the Saskatchewan School Boards Association, with their involvement with the Saskatchewan Human Rights Commission, with their involvement with maybe aren't the best arbiters of what's best for our kids. Scott Moe was also on record saying that parents are the experts of the kids. And yet what you're telling me is that parents are being stonewalled by the institution.
I don't know if I'd use that word. I would say probably they're hoping that with time, it'll go away.
They're outweighting you. I mean, we're at the end of the school year. They're like, listen, we'll just get through June, and
that's what I feel is happening. But this is not going to be a one-off. Like, okay, yes, maybe in our school, but what about 2 towns over? What about 6 towns over? What about the K-12 school up north?
In Balgonie, Saskatchewan, this was a boiling topic 2 years ago, like an absolutely boiling topic. And the response of the school division and the administrators will say is, if you don't like it, you can withdraw your kids from school. So in Saskatchewan, we're actually advocating that girls self-censor and self-withdraw from education, which is something that is we think that this only happens in places like Afghanistan and third world countries, and yet here in Saskatchewan, girls are being shoved out and excluded out of education because of this issue. Are we ready to put a stop to that, Tawney?
Oh, completely. Yes. But putting your rights and your dignity, your rights to your privacy and dignity and all the important things that help a person grow into the person that they're going to be eventually, like our age. How many times have we had to shift?
Sure.
Well, we're asking these kids to shift this early.
Well,
why can't kids be kids?
And on a highly, highly contested topic. We know this issue has been pressing in Saskatchewan for several years now. How many more girls are we going to fail in this? How many more girls are we going to fail in this? But I guess, where do you want this to end up?
I would like it to be, I mean, utopia is never going to happen, obviously. You can't make everybody happy all the time, but at least let's make the best case scenario.
Next door in Alberta, Danielle Smith has done some pretty amazing things protecting girls, whether it be in sport, whether it be from medical transition, from taking wrong sex hormones, from getting sucked into this. And that puts Saskatchewan at a really sort of unique crossroads where we have a bunch of people from Alberta who are looking at Saskatchewan as a safe place. Is it enough to just fix the bathroom problem, or must we sort of get back to the truth?
That is a whole nother issue, I guess, because right now we're just concentrating on the bathroom.
Okay.
For us, anyway. I do have my ear to the ground of what is happening. Back when the pronoun problem was happening, I was supportive of our government. I actually went to the march in the city that is closest to us, and I carried a sign that said, "Thank you, Sask government, for."
It was a common sense law, Tawney. It was a common sense law
for standing up for the parents.
Well, and 3 years later, that was May of 2023 that happened. In those 3 years, the government was proved right. That law was ahead of its time. The pushback it received was unwarranted. Of course, parents should know what's happening in their kids' lives. Of course, parents should know if their kids are changing genders and pronouns at school. Of course, there shouldn't be secrets behind parents' backs. The Saskatchewan Parents' Bill of Rights was actually much more inclusive than it was called the pronoun. It was labeled the pronoun bill because that's what the leftists were upset about at the time. But really what it did was give parents the right to know about what's happening, to be in the driver's seat and to be the primary decision makers.
And that's one of the problems that we're having now, is that the communication between the administration and the school and the parents, it's broken. It is broken.
And now I'm going to read some of the statements by the girls that feel impacted by this decision. The girls' washroom is supposed to be a place of safety and privacy. Now many girls avoid the washroom to avoid this person and that uncomfortableness and such that comes along just by walking past them, age 17. My safe environment for learning has been turned upside down, and I no longer feel safe, and it's hard to mentally process what we are supposed to be okay with. Age 16. I am 100% not okay with this situation. If this is what it's coming to, I will leave the school grounds just to use the washroom, which will impact my education on top of what this is already doing to my mental health. Age 16. So like you just heard in that interview, what Tawney Johnson did was arguably incredible. What her female lawyer did is out of this world. Her lawyer, Alison Pejovich from Canadian Charter Advocates, actually went and read the Saskatchewan Human Rights Code, which includes gender identity as a prohibited ground for discrimination. But Saskatchewan's Human Rights Code, and only Saskatchewan Human Rights Code, has an exemption clause for public decency, which again is entirely unique to Saskatchewan. It is indecent for boys and men who think they're women to transgress against girls and women. Girls and women in Saskatchewan have the unique human right to exclude men out of single-sex spaces, and have since 1995. Alison Pejovich did a case law search on Section 12, Sub 2 of the Code and found a case dating back to 1995 from the Saskatchewan Human Rights Commission, formerly called the Saskatchewan Human Rights Inquiry Board, who interpreted the exception clause to allow segregation based on sex in change rooms. Saskatchewan has had a no balls in women's stalls law on the books since 1995. This is an unreal legal discovery for the girls and women, the females of Saskatchewan. And I sure hope that you enjoyed this interview with Tawney Johnson. Please stay tuned for part 2 of this series on women's rights in Saskatchewan and no balls in women's stalls. I'm Lise Merle for Rebel News. Rebel News has reached out to the Southeast Cornerstone Public School Division in Weyburn, Saskatchewan, and they did not respond. There's no difference between bathroom grooming and classroom grooming. To support the girls of Lampman, Saskatchewan, and all the children of Canada, please head over to stopclassroomgrooming.com and sign our petition.